So I just want to
Okay,
say,
all right. You go, girl.
I just want to say to you, thanks for stopping by, and so you know I got to play.
It's an honor.
I just
It's an honor. How
adore
you?
this.
Thanks for stopping by the New Urban Jazz Lounge, where we celebrate music, but in particular, contemporary jazz with touches of urban and Brazilian flavors. Now we take you all around the world and bring you right on back. That's okay, because that's how we do it here. Now you might want to adjust your speaker a little bit. Turn the bass up just a taste. Yeah, right there. I want you to feel comfortable. Sit back in your seat. Grab yourself a nice little drink, or perhaps you're in your car, or you're at the job, whatever. We got your back, it's all good. This is New Urban Jazz, y'all. In fact, you may want to let your friends know what you're listening to so they don't be hating. We don't want any bad blood out there, you know what I mean? Gotta keep the vibe right. This is music for your heart, soul, spirit, mind, and body. We are influenced by the music of people like Duke Ellington, David Sanborn, Quincy Jones, Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, Marvin Gaye, Motown, Michael Jackson, Pat Metheny, to name a few. We just kind of smash it all together. New Urban Jazz, the coolest place on your radio. And if I may, please allow me to take a page out of a great New York DJ's book. He used to say this: sit back, listen, and enjoy. My name is Baldwin. I'm out.
I love that introduction so much. That was amazing, Bob Baldwin. Thanks for stopping by. So, how are you
You're
doing?
making me blush. I'm good. I can't complain.
You look
Nobody listens
amazing.
anyway. Thank you.
Yeah, you look great. So, we've all
I
been
love the
waiting.
backdrop. It's pretty. It's got a thing.
So, what's in your backdrop right there? What's on the TV?
Oh, just a couple of shows I've done, over the years at a small club in New Jersey called Trumpets. Unfortunately, they are no longer in business. The lady retired this year. She had planned to anyway. COVID wasn't the reason.
Right.
So we took this inspiration from Trumpets, and now we're taking it into our live stream event next Friday.
Okay. You want to go right into that and tell everybody all about it?
Sure, it's called the Bob Baldwin Birthday Bash, 15th year anniversary, and I'm celebrating a milestone birthday. I can't tell you what it is just yet.
You can. You look
Oh,
so great.
oh, 40. Okay, that's the number. So if you go to usaeventtix.com, you can get more information. And the show's on December 11th and 13th. December 11th is the first set, which is a piano set with the boys, and then set two is the electronic set. Lori Williams is singing on both sets, and a gentleman named Porter Carroll from the group Atlantic Star is singing on the first set. But I got two percussionists. One guy, one of my dear brother from another mother in Brazil. His name is Cafe de Silva. And then I have the Nuyorican king, I call him, Chumbo Cornell. So these guys are gonna be smashing and just and bashing some serious rhythms. Tony Lewis on drums and Dave Anderson on bass. I've known these guys all at least 25 years. And
Right.
then on saxophone, Bob Franceschini, fantastic soprano and tenor saxophonist. So we're gonna have some fun.
Yeah. And where are you going to be streaming that from? You must be in a studio somewhere with all those people.
Now you know what they say, in certain countries that if I tell you, then I'll have to. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
we can't do that. I'll
No.
tell you. I'll tell you next week.
But what time does the event start?
It starts at 7:30 on December 11th, and then we're going to do another set on December 13th. Uh, they're both at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But here's the thing: if you
Right.
missed the 11th and 13th, we're rebroadcasting between the 14th and 17th,
Okay.
so you don't miss a note.
Yeah.
So we were hoping that everybody will hang out with us.
Uh-huh. Is that a Friday? The
That's
11th.
a Friday and Sunday.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. That might work for us. It's going to be 1 o'clock in the morning for us.
Yeah, a little late, but you know what? But if the other days are going to be earlier, I have a couple of running during the afternoon. So
Hmm.
if you miss it, you can get up on the 14th
Sure.
during a normal hour and check it out.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
it would
want
have been
you. I don't want you
lovely.
losing sleep.
I don't mind. It's a weekend.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. We have a lady on here called Empress Lee, and she does events, and they finish at 5 o'clock in the morning, our time.
Ooh,
So,
what?
we can handle it.
Oh, this is nothing then. This is right up your
Yeah.
alley. Mm-mm.
Yeah. So tell us, when did you first pick up an instrument?
My father taught me how to play when I was 5. He was a fantastic pianist, Bobby Baldwin Sr.
Right.
And they used to call me when I was little Bobby Baldwin Jr. It was a little excessive. I was like, do I got to be little and Jr. and Bobby? I mean, it's a lot of. Anyway, I was like 5 years old, and my dad he used to sit me in the bedroom while I'm watching cartoons on my little black and white TV. This is the '60s. This is before your time. Okay. And so he bring his jazz friends over. He say, "Hey, hey, go play a note on the piano now. I'll let my son tell you what note it is." So he played piano note on the piano, and I hit the note. I tell him what the note is. Everybody was like, "Oh, this is amazing! Who's this kid? She's a perfect pitch, right?" So that's when I really got into it. And then my dad proceeded to have me listen to Oscar Peterson records at age 5. I said, "Dad, are you trying to drive me away from the piano? This guy's amazing."
Oh.
Oscar Peterson, oh my God. Sound like he had 7 hands on that piano. You can't hang with that. So, but during that time, I was listening to a lot of Quincy Jones, and Killer Joe was like one of the first Quincy records I heard, and I fell in love with him all the way into and through, Michael
Mhm.
Jackson's Thriller. And then as I got a little older, my sister, on the other hand, she had all the R&B records,
Right.
and that's when I fell in love with Stevie Wonder.
Uh-huh.
Back in 1970, he had 4 records out between 70 and 74 that were iconic Stevie records because he played piano, he played keyboard, he played bass, he played drums, he sang all the background parts,
Mhm.
he played harmonica. I mean, the dude was an absolute maniac. And I've had some really nice conversations with a gentleman who produced those records, who's now in his 80s. His name is Robert Marguleff. And Robert, man, he's got such a wealth of information about that era with Stevie. So I was really turned out by Stevie with all his keyboards.
Mhm.
And then later on was George Duke and Joe Sample and Pat Metheny. Some early Jeff Lorber fusion when I was in college. I used to watch Jeff Lorber jazz fusion in Pittsburgh back in the late '80s, late '70s. So it's been a fun ride. I finally put out my first record in 1988.
Which is incredible. But you was kind of made to play the piano. Did you want to try something else?
It would be bass.
Okay.
I absolutely love bass, and I try to emulate a cool bass sound and through my keyboards. When I grew up listening to Ray Brown, I told you about Killer Joe, and Ray Brown played bass on that record, but he also played bass with Oscar Peterson. So that was like probably the first bass player I fell in love with, and then
Right.
started getting turned on to electric bass players later on.
Mhm.
James Jamerson from the Motown era was absolutely amazing. His bass work on like What's Going On and some of those Jackson 5 records,
Mhm.
just iconic bass sounds and bass tones. Because there's nothing more inviting to a piano player is to have a great bass player to support the chord harmonic structure that I put down. Or any
Mhm.
piano player. Any piano player will tell you bass player is critical to keeping that foundation intact.
Yeah. And it's also with the drums as well, isn't it? The drummer and the bass player as well.
Absolutely. When the bass and drums are tight, and then the bass and the keys are tight, forget about it. It's
Mhm.
just a beautiful thing. You can make a lot of music with 3 people if the
Yeah.
foundation is real strong.
Well, I quite think, with the piano, it's beautiful on its own, with nothing else. It's just very soothing. It's very melodic. It's very relaxing. I listen to it a lot when I'm doing my work, or just if I just want to have some chill time. It's just piano music on its own. And do you feel like you are like your piano, a very chilled and soothing kind of guy?
I guess I could be.
Yeah.
I try. Yeah, I try. The music tries to be is the attempt of music and doing music is being an extension of who you are.
Mhm.
So I just try to be myself when I play.
Yeah.
When I talk, I don't have any kind of different kind of vibe. I'm who I am, just a
Mhm.
regular guy who's got this really blessed talent, and I just
Yeah.
I want to take advantage of it. And here I am,
Yeah.
still doing it after 30 plus years.
So the first song you released was in 1989.
1988. It was a record
80.
called "I've Got a Long Way to Go." It was on a small jazz label. Well, no, let me rephrase that. It was on a gospel label out of Mississippi, which is in the South.
Mhm.
And this label was great in jazz. I mean, blues and gospel. That was their ticket. They did all the jazz, all the blues and gospel you could ever find.
Mhm.
So this guy wanted to create a jazz label segment on this label, Malaco Records. They're still in business. So they liked the idea. They put three records together. It was a record that I did, a record that Tom Brown did called "No Longer I," which is one of the first gospel jazz records I had a chance to arrange for him, and then Bobby Humphrey had a record. So here's the problem: the record comes out. I got friends in New York that are spinning the record like crazy, and the record comes out, and I'm getting all this airplay in Philly, D.C., and New York. I go to the record store for like a week. I don't see my record no place. I was like, how am I gonna sell? How am I gonna sell any records? We can't find them. So couldn't find a record north of like North Carolina. I'm like, this ain't gonna work. So we got off that label real quick. But before I did that, I was blessed to submit the record to the Sony Innovators Award, and Roberta Flack was the judge, and out of about 250 to 300 applicants, it's like a amateur award. I was able to actually come in first place. I beat out this group called Straight Ahead out of Detroit, and that group had Regina Carter and Althea Renee, who are still
Oh.
very, very active in the business now. But Roberta Flack fortunately selected me, and that's how I got my first deal with Atlantic Jazz.
Oh.
It's crazy. You couldn't find a record north of North Carolina, bro. I'll tell you. I get those sales that week. A lot of airplane, no sales. New story.
But since
I got
then, you've
I
released
got
how
14
many
record deals.
albums?
So,
Since
huh?
then, you've released how many albums?
About 31. Number 32 is coming out in January.
That's
It's
just
called
incredible.
New Urban Jazz 3.
New Urban Jazz 3.
It's got
Yeah.
some really, really wonderful singers. It's got a lot of it's like more half vocals.
Hmm.
Lori Williams out of Washington D.C.
Yay. We
Beautiful,
love
fantastic.
Laurie.
She's got a wonderful voice. Tony Red, Monica Mason, a young lady named Gigi out of Detroit. I mean, out of Texas,
Hmm.
and Regina Troop out of Louisville, Kentucky. And it's like a jazz. It's like a funk record with a jazz overtone. That's
Hmm.
pretty the best way I could describe this one. As opposed to jazz with a funk, it's
Yeah.
more funk with a jazz overtone. Jazz, I always keep the jazz in the mix at all times, some kind of way, even if it's for 2 seconds.
Yeah. Well, why have you
Keep
chosen
that
to do
jazz,
something a little bit different?
huh?
Why have you chosen to do something a little bit different?
Well, I didn't want people like going through the catalog and hearing the same vibe. So I always like to try to switch things up. That's why I did a Michael Jackson tribute and I did a Stevie Wonder tribute. Then I did the Beatles. I'm like,
Oh, that Beatles one was amazing.
oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I try to keep things interesting.
Yeah. Why did you choose the Beatles?
Well, and a lot of people have asked that. I've had, like everybody in the world in the last who turns on the radio, you've heard a Beatles tune.
True.
And so for me, in New York, they had this one radio station that played everything from Stevie to the Beatles to Steely Dan, Earth, Wind, and Fire to Chicago, and everything else in between. So I've heard Beatles records for a long time, and when I did that record, with the exception of one track on that album, I knew all the melodies. I didn't even have to go like listen and study the Beatles because it already had been in my impounded in my brain for 50 years. I mean, how many times have you heard the song Imagine? Like 25,000 times. You
Yeah.
know, it's just the numbers are crazy. And after a while, the melodies just stick.
Yeah, well, I
So I
do
want to do
love
something
that, and I
different.
do play Imagine a lot.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Use groove.
yeah, absolutely love that. I actually did have it on to play next.
Oh, look at that. And you know, the funny thing about that, I just found out that I got like 4 million streams on Spotify with that song. It's my most streamed record on Spotify.
Wow. Hang on a
I
minute.
was shocked. I just found that out last week.
That deserves one of these.
Here, 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 here.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So if
I
somebody
wish all
like
my songs had 4 million streams. Yeah, let's do it.
so if somebody like me wanted to play the piano, what advice would you give to me?
Well, I mean, obviously, you want to find a teacher that has an understanding of how to play the piano, and then after you have an understanding of how to play, then you want to
Mhm.
find a pianist that plays the kind of style that you want to play. So you want to get the technique down first,
Mhm. I
and then
can play chopsticks.
well, that's a start. You got
Yeah.
to start somewhere.
Yeah.
How long have you been playing?
Um, Probably about a week. That was like 20 years ago.
Okay, okay,
But I still
okay.
remember it.
You got to start someplace.
Yeah, I'd love to play the piano.
You know, I find that if you know how to type with all your fingers, you could actually there's a transference of skill from the
Really?
keyboard to the keyboard. It's true because
Really? I've been
when
typing
you're
for
typing with
30
both
years.
hands, you need both sides of your brain to to do that. So
Yeah,
it's a left right brain thing because you want to separate what you do with the left with what you do from the right.
that is the best advice I've ever heard. I like that.
And music and piano in particular has a lot of math. It's very math driven
Hmm.
because it's the distance between notes that create the different tones. You know, so if you're able to actually, like when I was younger, I used to be able to transpose music in my head,
Hmm.
and by doing so, that was actually improving my math skills, which I found out later on.
Mm.
See,
I'm
you can't
good.
say
Yeah.
everything just all together.
And what's the kind of would I get a keyboard? Could I get a keyboard? Maybe like a
Yeah.
small one?
Start with a small one, and then once you get the hang of it, graduate to a slightly larger. But just get the musical the musician side of it out out first and get your fingers going.
Yeah. Hmm. All right, I'm going to find time in my busy schedule to do that.
Another thing you should do also is to build up your finger strength. You can either do like push-ups on the wall,
Hmm.
not a lot, but you want to make sure these are really strong.
Right.
This is the key facility right here because you
Uh-huh.
don't want to tire when you're playing.
But like I say, I've been a legal assistant for
Oh,
30 years.
how fast can you type?
Oh, very fast. Very fast indeed.
I have a typing story. So I'm applying for this. This is college. I'm applying for some part-time job to get through summer school, and it says you need to go take a typing test. And I'm like, okay, they don't think I could type, and they're looking at me like, this dude can't type. I play piano, so watch. So I get in there and I'm whacking that, and the lady looks around the corner. She's like, what? I think I typed like 80 words a minute. She looked at me like, I think I got hired the next day.
Oh, really?
So yeah, there is definitely a transference of skill between the piano and the keyboard.
Yeah.
You can shock a lot of people too.
Yeah, I'm going to do this. That's going to be my New Year's resolution.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I'm going to bring in one of our guests here, Michelle Sellers. She's going to ask you a couple of questions, if that's okay.
Sure. How
Yeah.
you doing, Michelle?
So I'm going to
Hi,
bring
how
her.
are you? It's wonderful to see you. I've seen you in concert a few times. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. So I have a couple of questions for
Okay,
you
for the
about your.
new.
We need to bring you to St. Louis when all this is over. We'd love to see you
Oh,
here.
please. I used to I play with a friend of mine, for a friend of mine who has a private organization, nonprofit. His name is Demetrius Johnson, and we've done his venue at least about 6 or 7 different times. No, probably more like 10, going back to 1999.
Yeah, I've seen you a couple of times.
The Demetrius Johnson Foundation.
Yeah, yeah. So a couple of questions for you. I noticed I was reading your bio, and not only are you a wonderful musician, but I also see you have inventor on your website. So tell me about some of the things you've invented.
Well, there's one invention I'm working on right now. It's not fully patented, but it fuses technology with travel. And God willing, if once the pandemic goes away, which is probably not going to be for some time, hopefully I'll be able to put it out in 2022, God willing.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the gist of it, and it seems that there's nothing else out here like it, which is to my advantage.
Awesome, awesome. And also, I
But
noticed too.
I don't know. I don't know if the lack of traveling by people now is going to be a good thing or bad thing. So the jury's still out on how this may eventually shake out. But we'll see.
Okay. So, and my next question was about as a musician, I see you're also on the radio broadcasting side, especially with your radio show. So, what made you decide to flip the script and also do the DJing part too?
Well, in the late 70s, when I was in college, I fell in love with radio. Fell in love with radio production. That's how it kind of really got started. I was like producing commercials for the station. And then I had a friend of mine who was on the air. His name was Tuna, who I stay in touch with. So brother Tune was doing like a jazz gospel show on Sunday nights. I used to hang out with him, and then eventually they let me do a show. So that's kind of where I got the bug. It was there who I met Rex Wright, who we became friends later and did a lot of production for Will Downing later in the 90s. But so that's where I got the radio bug. And then I went, after running out of money in college because tuition went up and aid went down, so I was like, gotta go. So I went to New York and landed this internship at WBLS. And at that time, it was Frankie Crocker who was on the radio. And Frankie and WBLS had the #1 show in the country. And this is before internet and anything. Their numbers were through the roof. So I interned there and really sat back and watched how Frankie made his how he did radio. He was an amazing talent. And in the clip that DJ Sapphire just played, I do a thing where it says sit back, listen, and enjoy. That was from Frankie Crocker. That's where I got that line from.
Okay.
So that's where it all started. And I helped program a radio station in Bermuda in 2005. It was the first smooth jazz station there. I did some programming in Jacksonville, Florida, in the early 2000s, and worked at WCLK in Atlanta in between 1998 and 2004. But then in 2008, I started the New Urban Jazz Lounge because 24 out of the 24 smooth jazz stations closed their doors in 36 months, from '08 to '09 when the housing market crashed back in '08. And so as a result, that's when I started New Urban Jazz, because there was no smooth jazz between Boston and Jacksonville, Florida. I was like, man, we got to do something about this. How dare they? So that's how I got into radio, and I'm still doing it, thankfully. And it works well between the radio and the music. There's definitely a nice synergy between both.
Well, I know that I can say I'm stlsmoothjazz.com. I'm going to throw out a little promo there. We would love to have your show. Um,
Oh,
there is a song that you do, and I can't tell you what year you did it, but it was Jeep Jazz. And I always loved
oh,
the
okay.
intro to Jeep Jazz. I was like, oh my God, listen to that man's voice. I love this man. Where's my husband? I can't say that too loud, but
Oh Lord.
but I
Well,
love this
I
man's
on the
voice.
next record, New Urban Jazz 3, I have another intro for you.
Okay, okay, sounds
But
good.
Deep, but Deep Jazz was from the New Urban Jazz, the first record in '08. That
Okay,
that all happened the same year, 2008.
okay, okay. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to ask you some questions. And
Oh, it's an
DJ
honor.
Sapphire,
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
You're
Nice meeting
very
you, brother.
welcome. Thank you, Michelle. So yeah, so
Thank you.
Michelle has her own radio station, stlsmoothjazz.com.
Okay. It's
Yeah, so
stlsmoothjazz.com. Okay, I'm
yeah,
writing it
up there in
down.
St. Louis. So we must all get together and keep smooth jazz alive.
Yes.
Amen to that.
Yeah. So can I play one of your songs?
Sure.
Yes, I'm going to play my favorite, which is Imagine. Actually, there's a lot of yours that I love, but this is
Oh,
one of
thank you.
them with Huge Groove.
Kudos.
I just love the production on this. I just think it's just so clear, it's just crystal. Everything is just perfect. So you're a bit of a producer as well, is that right?
I kind of fell into producing and making records and as being as an artist kind of all at the same time. I think you have to really learn the process of production and engineering along the way. So it's kind of been a learned skill over the years. I've just get a little better each year doing it. I I grew up watching this guy named Ray Bardani. So
Hmm.
it was a studio in White Plains, New York, which is not far from New York City. Really small studio, but the studio body and their mother coming through here. It was like it was in the suburbs. So on any given day in a week, I would see Bob James, a young Marcus Miller when he was like 19.
Hmm.
Anybody knew who he was. David Sanborn would be hanging out here. I met Kirk Weldon there years later when he was working with Bob James on his first record. Lenny White from Return to Forever. Amazing, amazing time. And the group Atlantic Star was based out of that area.
Hmm.
There was a lot of music coming through this little studio. And I used to watch Ray Bardani engineer Luther Vandross's first record. He
Oh.
ended up being the engineer for most of his catalog. And then he went on to engineer all of Kim's music. So that was the inspiration of, what to watch for, what to listen for. And another great engineer who I've never got a chance to work with, but read a lot about is Bruce Swedien, who did all the engineering work for Quincy Jones.
Oh.
So production is there's a concept.
Hmm.
Me, I look at a piece of music like a like a photograph. So you got the subject matter, which is the lead artist,
Hmm.
and then you have all the ancillary stuff behind the artist, which is the arrangement, the
Hmm.
composition. So and then you have depth of field, how far things are, what's in one ear, what's in the other,
Hmm.
you know. So it's a concept that I've been developing and redeveloping over my 30
Yeah, and I
years.
think it's brilliant to kind of understand that because I sing, and I did a song with this artist, this guy in Memphis, and so when we collaborated via the internet and sent music to each other, he produced it and everything. 'Cause I knew nothing about that, and when it came back to me, I was like, "This sounds great," and then I sent it to other DJs. They're like, "The production's really bad on this."
Oh,
I was like, "Really?"
was
And
it a
then
final mix that they were listening to, or just
no, it
random?
was bad. Because then when I listened to it next to another track, like next to
Oh,
yours, I'd be
man.
like, yeah, it was pretty bad.
I'm always playing my stuff against other artists, and 'cause I want to make sure that
Yeah,
I'm in the ball fields.
yeah, exactly. It's got to be right. It really
Hmm.
does. So you have collaborated with a lot of people. Would it be difficult to
I
say who the best one that you have collaborated with?
Oh boy, that's a tough question.
I already is.
Um, oh my God, I can't even say.
You
But
can't.
I have a favorite session.
Hmm.
Can I share?
Of course.
So Gerald Albright.
Oh yeah.
Um, Gerald Albright played on "Funkin' for Jamaica" for me.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he did. So let me give you the background on this. So Grover Washington and I were friends there for maybe between 1990 and 93, give or take. Through that Sony Innovators Award, where Roberta Flack selected me,
Hmm.
helped me get a deal at Atlantic Jazz. I submitted some music to Roberta Flack, and right around 1990, and she had passed on the record, but she said, "I know somebody that might like this record. Let me send it to him." I was like, "Okay." So about like a week later, I get a voice message from Grover Washington Jr. on my voicemail says, "Hey, looking for Bob Baldwin. You got this record I like to hear." I'm like, "Whoa, Grover, why should you leave a message for little old me? I got a day job working at like Sprint or something, you know." And this guy's called me. I was like, "Wow, this is pretty cool." So we developed a relationship, and then in 1999, before he passed, he was supposed to play on Funkin' for Jamaica with Tom Brown. That was the original plan.
Right.
Grover and Tom Brown with the original
Mm.
vocalist Tony Smith singing,
Mm-hmm.
and he was totally down. And when I was putting the track together, man, I went to the store one day and heard it on the radio that he had passed away. Just
Oh.
broke my heart. Just because just he was young. He was like 56 years old, almost
Mm-hmm.
50, almost 56. Died of a heart attack, and so I said, let me turn this into a tribute record.
Yeah.
So it was Gerald Albright, Freddie V from the Average White Band, Marion Meadows, Tom Brown, and then Tony Smith singing, and that really made the record. So back to the Gerald story. I'm on the road with Will Downing and Vesta and Gerald and Phil Perry. They're doing this thing called the
Oh.
Jazz Explosion. One band, four artists. They do like a 2 hour show, and they killed it. So we're in Las Vegas. I had booked a studio in Las Vegas. I said, Gerald, I need you. We need to, because we had a day off. So I booked a studio in Las Vegas. I said, could you do a couple tunes for me while we're here? He's like, yeah, cool, no problem. So we get to the track Funkin' for Jamaica. Now he hadn't heard anything. I didn't send him an idea. He has no idea what I'm getting ready to ask him to play. So I tell Gerald, I said, okay, so Gerald, here's the game plan. The song's in C minor. It's Funkin' for Jamaica. It's funky, and I'm not gonna play it for you. I'm just gonna press record, get your sax ready, and get ready to play something. He looked at me like I was on crack. Like, what, Bob? What are you talking about? Nah, because guys are used to taking the song home, studying it, trying to intellectualize it. I said, nah, man, I want the first thing that comes out of your brain on the record. So we press record, and I think that the vamp was like 32 bars. It's a nice long vamp, and press record, and he just starts playing. I'm like, ooh, that is nasty. Killed it. It was so the first take. That was it.
Really?
That song session ended in like 10 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
That is one of my favorite sessions of all time.
Yeah. That is another one of my favorite songs of yours.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
A lot of great collaborations. Work with Pieces of a Dream and Marion Meadows, and wrote a track for Howard Hewitt many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Freddie Jackson, Phil Perry with his old crazy self. We call him Uncle Crazy Phil. I love that brother. Boy, he's a madman. He's a madman in the studio.
Is he?
Ooh, my Lord.
Love his voice. He's just incredible.
He is. I do have another favorite. It wasn't in a studio. We were writing a song for Will Downing. Me and this guy named James Crab Robinson. And me, Will, and James are in this room trying to get the parts together. And Will's trying to hit this note, and he can't hit it. And James, his nickname is Crab. Crab is trying to teach him the note, right? So this is something that you singer is eat ice cream. So Crab puts a big old cup of ice cream in his mouth, right? And he hits his note that's like 25 octaves in the sky. And Will Down and I are just falling out. So what you guys laughing at? I had never seen anybody put ice cream in their mouth and then sing like all the way to the sky. And me and Will fell out for like an hour on that. He couldn't finish the session. He went home after that. He's like, I'm done. You singing with ice cream and killing it. What am I supposed to do? He's up there.
But you
Sailing
sing
on a Dream.
also.
That was the track.
Do you sing as well? Do you sing as well?
Not like that.
But you can sing.
Not like that.
But
I can sing a little bit. I mean, I don't sing lead.
yeah.
I don't do lead. I do background and arrangement, and that's kind of my thing.
Okay, so which one
Yeah,
on your
I
song
sing.
do you sing on?
I sing. Well, there's a track a few years back called "Make Love Not War" that I sing on.
Okay.
It was from the Never Out of Season. No, I don't even remember the name of the record now. I'm sorry. Ooh. It came out about 3 years ago. "Make Love Not War." It was on a compilation record.
But you prefer to be in the background playing the piano.
Trust me, that's enough work.
Yeah. Oh
I
gosh,
mean,
yeah. I
I'm
can
barely
imagine. 30
trying to
albums.
keep up with
Come
that.
on.
Trying to keep up with that. You kidding me? Now you want me to sing? Good Lord.
But
No,
piano and vocals is beautiful together, isn't it?
it's a nice combination. And listening to classic Stevie Wonder, he was one of the first artists to overdub his voice on many tracks. I think one of the first records also that did the same thing was Marvin Gaye. What's going on? That album.
Oh
That
yeah.
was a real critical album. You had one guy singing all the backgrounds. Him and a gentleman named Leon Ware.
Oh yeah.
They did a
He's
lot of work
great.
on.
Yeah.
He did a lot of work on the what's I Want You record. Leon Ware. That was supposed to be his record, by the way.
Oh.
He did the entire record, and he went to Motown, and Motown said, "Yeah, we like the record, but we want to try another artist on the vocals." So they took Leon off, and they put Marvin Gaye on the entire record, left Leon doing all the pretty background stuff.
Right.
And that album, I mean, what a combination of those two guys.
Gosh.
That is a true story. If you listen to any other Marvin Gaye record, none of them sound like that one.
Yeah. What song was that? Remind me.
The album "I Want You"
Oh yeah.
with "I Want You" and "After the Dance." Those are all Leon Ware compositions.
Right. My goodness. Can I play "Make Love Not War"?
Sure, sure.
Okay. I don't think I've heard this one yet, so it's going to be a new one for me.
Ooh, mercy, mercy me. Oh, things ain't what they used to be.
This is you singing right now.
Yes.
Mercy, mercy me. Brother, why are we still fighting? Mother, why are we still attacking? We have still not found a way to make love like Marvin used to say. Make love not war. Make love, make love. Make love not war. Ooh, make love not war. Make love, make love. Make love not war. It was Tuesday, right about 9 a.m. Turn on the news. Listen, they talk devastation all around the world. Broken hearts, relationships, they're going overseas. Please return, please. Make love not war. Make love not war. Make love not war. Save the baby. Listen. Save the children.
This is amazing.
I wrote it right after 9/11.
My gosh. I really.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. That's getting a lot of love. Karen Gill, she says beautiful. Freddie G, he says nice. That is going in my playlist for tomorrow on my show.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. This is it. Because like I say, you have 30 albums, and I have not heard all your songs. So I think I need to put aside a day just to listen to all your music.
Or you could drive from Miami to Toronto and maybe you'd hear everything.
I would prefer to do that rather than stay in my house in Tottenham
I
and
know that's
listen to it.
right. You look at something, right?
Yeah, I'm going to do that. That is beautiful. You have a
Thank,
sensational voice.
thank you very much.
Yeah. We need to hear
You
more
know,
of that.
I need to,
Donna Briscoe
I am
Green. He
horrible
says
for writing
wonderful.
lyrics. I am not a lyric writer at all. It takes me like years to write lyrics. It
You're
takes me
the same.
mathematics.
You're the same as me. With my band, when I was in the reggae band, they kind of pushed me up to lead singer because the lead singer left. He got signed by Island Records. So they're like, you up front, get writing some music. And I think I wrote, one of the songs that I wrote had 4 verses, and every verse was the same apart from the last line. I changed the last line. So I didn't know what to write. I was like, no, I'm not cut out for this.
You're not ready for that, huh?
No, just tell me what to sing and I'll sing it.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah,
everybody has their lane that that they specialize in.
yes,
I
definitely.
can write music all day long.
Uh-huh.
No big deal.
Yeah. So we have a few singers right here on the Zoom call.
Oh,
Donna Briscoe Green, maybe you can, she's a jazz singer.
okay.
Beautiful. So maybe, oh yeah, we've got Lorna Valchin, also a singer, and Presley. And so, yeah, maybe we should start our own little choir on here. You can play piano for us.
I don't have a piano over here. Sorry.
Not today, another
Oh,
time.
here's a
Yeah.
piano. Here you
You,
go. Here's a piano for you.
oh, look, there we see him in action in the back. So, do you have a grand piano?
I used to. I need to get a new one, but I've had grand pianos in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Baldwin. I was a Baldwin piano in Dorsey for quite some time,
Ah.
and that was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got a couple. There's a piano that I want to get. I like Yamahas and Steinways are really great sounding pianos. Not that the Baldwin wasn't, but that's that's in the near future. I want to do a couple straight ahead records. So
Yeah.
I do have a another piano in my sight.
Have you ever done a collaboration with any artists from the UK?
Yes, but only very briefly. Ali Silk.
Okay.
I did this really crazy record called Club Life.
Mm-hmm.
So Club Life has like 11 different soloists on it. I said, let me try something really out of the box here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it has Marion Meadows. It really was written for Marion. It was Marion, me, and Tom Brown.
Right.
And then one day I said, people will call me and say, hey man, I want to do some collaborating with you. And so we do trades. So Ali Silk sent me a solo, and then Reagan Whiteside sent me a solo, and then Brooke Alford, violinist, and then we had Walter Beasley got in the act, and Joey Somerville, Nils, oh my goodness, and then UNAM got in. So we had like when I was all said and done, it was like 11 solos on it.
Wow.
I couldn't fade the record. It was like 10 minutes long. It's called Club Life. So I put that out about 2 years ago. It's on my last Henna record.
Okay. I'm just trying to look for it right now. Right. So actually, I had Ollie Silk. He was my first guest on the
Oh,
Blue
okay.
Jazz
Ollie's a
Lounge
great.
back
I love
in
his piano
June.
playing. Very tasty musician.
Yeah, he's an amazing artist, and he's such a lovely, down-to-earth guy.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and he released his album this year titled Six,
Six, right? Uh-huh.
and he was meant to be doing a few shows here in London, but because of the
Oh,
lockdown, it wasn't
wow.
happening. And so he was getting quite excited that it was going to happen
Wow.
about a month ago
Uh-huh.
in November, but
Wow.
then it got cancelled at the last minute, which
Ah,
was a great shame. So I can understand how devastated he was.
Yes, yes,
not to be able to
absolutely.
do that. But you have performed at the Pizza Express before, haven't you, here in London?
I have Pizza Express in I've done that twice. I did it one time with Michael Langton and Steve Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
I did it another time with my goodness, with Nils
On
about
Nils, yeah.
3 years ago. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
both were a lot of fun.
Glenda
Huh?
Franklin has said that the last time she saw you was at the World Trade Center a week before it went down.
Whoa, that was we played there. That was crazy. It was 2001, of course.
Mm,
We actually played on July 4th, Independence Day. It was on a Wednesday.
right.
That I was surprised that they were going to do it. Anything, it would be on that day. But no, it was we played on July 4th. But I went to Brazil to work on. I started working the album Brazil Chill, and came back on a Sunday, September 9th. I got back in the U.S. just in time. 2 days later, 9/11 happened.
Gosh.
Yeah, that was quite a year.
Yes.
But
Good
yeah, the World
memory.
Trade Center that was fun.
Yeah, I bet it was. And so tell us some of your highs and your lows in the music business.
Well, you and I had a conversation about my first slash worst gig. I have to tell this story.
Yes, you have to tell this story.
This is an interesting story. Sorry. So I'm working at a part-time job at an insurance company. This is 1984. Going to college, three different colleges, doing gigs on the side, playing church piano on Sundays. And at that time, I'm taking care of my father who was sick in New Rochelle, New York. So I get this call. I'm at work, and I get a call from a friend of mine. His name is Duke Jones. He plays in the Norman Connors band. So Duke calls, and I've known Duke like 10 years, and I would consider him a friend outside of what happened on this little occasion here. So he calls me and says, hey, I got this gig for you, man. It's in St. Thomas. It's for 2 months. It's paying, what I don't remember the numbers. It wasn't paying a lot of money, but the room and board was covered. The food was covered. So it was like 2 months. It was like 2 months in St. Thomas. Where do I sign? Now, mind you, I know nothing about the music business. Like I said, I'm just playing in church and doing gigs around town. And, so I'm just like trusting everybody. And so the artist is Norman Connors. I'm like, yeah, man, this is going to be a great show. It's going to be fantastic. We're doing like 5 shows a week for like months on end. So, like I said, I know nothing about the business. And, some people you have to establish parameters. So, get a call back like 2 days later, and they say, yeah, Bob, I need you to pay for your plane ticket, and we'll reimburse you. I'm like, oh, you want me to pay for my plane ticket? Okay. It's a total green move, the greenest move I could ever perform. Evergreen. My name is Evergreen Mr. Steen. You know what I mean? So I pay for my own ticket one way, thinking I'm gonna get reimbursed. He calls back the next day, and says, oh yeah, I need you to bring your keyboard. Now, in 1984, there are no keyboards you could put under your arm and go do the gig. I had a Fender Rhodes. And the Fender Rhodes weighed more than I did. I said, this is going to be a problem. I said, okay, no problem. I got you. Fender Rhodes, here we come. Me and the Rhodes, I'll pay for it. You reimburse me. Everybody's cool. We're just a good, happy little situation. Now, the freight on the keyboard was like $140. This is 1984. Be equivalent like $300 today. Thing was like behemoth, heavy. And when the airplane got done with it, that thing was so out of tune. They destroyed that thing. I had to take it to the hotel room and tune it up. It was badly out of tune. So I'm out of like $400, piano all jacked up. I'm in St. Thomas. I ain't never been to St. Thomas. I don't know nobody down here except my friend Duke Jones. So I get to get to the venue. So I'm out of pocket like all the way. Ain't nobody paid me nothing yet. So I finally meet up with Duke, and Duke introduces me to Norman. And Duke says, "Yeah, this is Bob. He's gonna be playing on a gig tomorrow." And Norman looks at Duke, says, "What is he doing here?" He didn't know I was coming. It's like, Duke, you got me down here in St. Thomas, and the artist that he knows is supposed to be here, and I'm out of pocket money because you told me to pay for everything. Oh, like, this is some jokester madness right here. So I'm supposed to be there for 2 months. I was there for 2 weeks. I got the heck up out of there because the business was so jacked up. I learned about I learned about rum and coke, and
Uh-huh.
down there the St. Thomas rum was out of this world. But by the third day, I was drinking rum and coke for breakfast. It was getting I was really enjoying it a little bit too much, and I had conch chowder. It was amazing. Conch chowder. That carried me through the 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Let me finish. The story gets really dicey after this one. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning one night. I'm like, I've had it. I'm gone. See you later. I don't tell nobody I'm leaving. I call the cat. I call my girlfriend at the time. I said, send me some money so I get up off this island and go back to New York. Go back to school. So I pay for it, my return trip. I call a cab, like 12 o'clock the night before. I say, I need you to come get me at like 4:30 in the morning. Okay, no problem. So 4:30 comes, and now I got to bring this big old keyboard I got, which is up in like 20 steps up on the second floor. No elevator.
Oh.
So the cabbie helps me get the keyboard down the stairs. About 4 steps in, he starts sneezing. I was like, man, you can't be sneezing with that keyboard in your hand. Please don't do that. I said, you want to switch? You want me to do the bottom and you do the top in case you sneeze and drop it? He's like, no, man, no, man. Everything's good, man. Everything's good. I got you. Okay. All right. So we go about 3 or 4 more stairs and he sneezes again and he lets the keyboard go. And the thing proceeds to just bang down the stairs. Bam! Sound like an explosion at the end.
Oh.
So here I am. I'm like, oh my God, everybody's gonna hear that we got a keyboard out in the hallway. Yeah, I said, grab this keyboard. Let's get in the cab. So we got the cab and got off. I got off that. I couldn't get off that. I couldn't get out of that island fast enough. I went and got back to college the next week. I was like, I ain't playing with these folks. That dude still owes me money. I saw him like 25 years later. We were at a club, and we laughed about it then. It wasn't funny at the time though. I was like, you got me out here at St. Thomas, telling me you gonna reimburse me. You don't. Gotta bring my keyboard, all jacked up attitude. Get down there. There's no food. I'm drinking conch chowder and rum and coke for breakfast. I gotta hustle to get my money to go back home. So that was my first and worst gig.
Oh.
So I had to become an alcoholic after that.
But thankfully, you stuck to
Yeah.
it. But you went to school. So what did you study when you went to college?
I went to school for business administration. I was originally going to study accounting.
Right.
I got a little too. Actually, a couple classes really took me out. I couldn't finish it. Intermediate and cost accounting were like, this is not accounting. This is like some other stuff. So I just switched to business administration.
Right.
I had a I had a I had a music scholarship at a school in Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Academy.
Hmm.
I was taking care of my dad in New Rochelle, so I couldn't like live down there. So I said, well, let me try to commute, see if I survive. This commute was the worst commute ever known to man. I had to walk to the train station, which was about 40 minutes. and then I had to catch a bus to the subway in the Bronx, and then I had to catch like three subways to Brooklyn Academy.
Oh,
It took
God.
me like 3 hours one way, and I lasted for about a week. I said, guys, I can't do this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was too much, man. It would wore me out, and I couldn't move to Brooklyn, because of my dad.
Yeah.
So, but I still studied music under other great, musical, people
Hmm.
like Mark Soskin. I did some piano lessons with him, and Barry Barry Harris, who's in his 90s now.
Hmm.
Used to go to some of his workshops. So, and my dad was, taught me some great stuff along the way.
Well, you do have a lot of stories, and our time is running out. And I've just been asked to play a song, which I'm going to try and look for. But in
Okay.
the meantime, you can tell us a little bit about your record label.
The record label is called City Sketches. It first started back in 1997. It was just a label which I housed my own recordings independently. And then over the last couple of years, I started adding different artists to the label. Miss Lori Williams has released two or three of her latest pieces, and as well as her catalog. Monica Mason has got a project coming out sometime in 2021, hopefully. Dee Dee Davis has a record out that's out now. A young man by the name of Richard Randolph will have some music coming out.
Oh, I know him. He's contacted me.
Really?
Yes, he was in a band called Urban Jazz
Jazz.
Coalition.
That's right.
Yeah, and so he just came to me saying, "Can I send you my new track that I'm going to be doing with Bob Baldwin when it's ready?" And this
Nice.
was like a couple of weeks ago.
Really?
And yeah, and so I
Oh,
said,
that's
"Yeah,
cool.
sure you can." And
Uh-huh.
then somebody else said to me, "Do you know Urban Jazz Coalition?" I said, "Yeah, I love them." And said, "I've got this person that keeps sending me a lot of music and just like people I should be promoting." And so he said, "I'll get in contact with the guy, the saxophonist." So he did. And then Richard said to him, "I've already contacted, no, Randolph is his name?
Yeah, Richard Randolph.
Yeah. He said, "I've already contacted her." And I thought, I don't
Wow.
know who, I haven't received anything. Then I realized it was him.
Mm.
But he
But
was, he was talking about the song with you rather than Urban Jazz Coalition.
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
so
Uh,
incredible.
make you aware that Lori Williams has a record out called A New Book. Just
Oh,
came out a
yeah.
couple weeks ago.
I've been playing
So,
that. That's been getting some love. I played New Day.
oh,
Yeah, I played a New Day on my show on
oh,
Monday.
nice.
And somebody messaged me and said, "Is that
Ah,
Mesa
great.
singing on there?"
Wow, look at
Yeah,
that.
which is, yeah, she's
Yeah,
had such a
she got a special
fantastic
voice.
voice.
And
So
she
yeah,
did
I've
a
been
record called
playing her music.
Demais, which is written by the guys from Azimuth from Brazil.
Uh-huh.
Some of that song was recorded in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah. Yeah, I was listening to that the other day as well. Yeah. So I've had a request to play Time After Time.
Oh wow! Look
That
at
was
you,
Jimmy who requested that. So yeah.
impressive. Now there's a Bob Baldwin super fan right there.
Yeah. Jimmy, he knows his
In fact, the
stuff.
vocalist on that is the guy Crab I was telling you about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, he used to sing in the group Change.
Oh, it wouldn't change. I remember that band.
He replaced Luther Vandross in the group Change.
Right. Another one to add to my playlist tomorrow.
That was a fun record.
Nice choice, Jimmy. Thank you for that. I
Yes,
can't believe I've
Jimmy.
not heard that one before.
Jimmy's my hero.
Mine too.
My man.
Yeah, that was amazing. And Earl Smith, bless him, he says you've inspired me to bring out some of my collection. So
Okay.
Earl
Okay.
Smith, I look forward to hearing some of that one day.
Wow, wow, wow. Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, do you know the trumpeter Willie Bradley? Have you
I
heard
do.
of him?
We did a record together about 2 years ago.
Did you? He's just messaged me just this second saying I'd love to be a guest at your jazz lounge.
Willie, shout
Yeah.
out to North Carolina. My man.
That's incredible. I'm so delighted.
Look at
He's
that.
amazing. Yeah.
Good dude.
Oh. So, okay, so we don't have much longer, so let's tell everybody again about your birthday event.
Absolutely. It's the 15th annual Bob Baldwin Birthday Bash, 15th annual, and we're doing a live stream. If you go to usaeventtix.com, usaeventtix.com, you'll get an all-week pass. The first show is piano on December 11th. Second set is a electronic keyboard set with the band on December 13th. And then we run rebroadcasts from the 14th through the 17th if you missed the 11th and 13th. So that's like an all-week pass. 10% off if you use the code word early bird. 10% off, code word early bird. In fact, I'll type it in the thing here. Early bird. There you go. Code. All right, one word. Sorry, CODE, not code.
Well, thank you. Really do
Can't type and talk
appreciate
at the
that.
same time.
Wonderful. And that's going to be streamed. And so
Yes.
it's going to be, do we go to usaeventtix.com and is it going to be streamed on that website?
Yes, and if you have an Apple TV device or Roku or on your phone or on your laptop, we got it. Got you all covered.
Well,
Stay home.
wonderful.
You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to get in no traffic and clothes on and go buy 5 drink minimum. You know, you just stay at home for I think it's $20 with 10% off,
Uh-huh.
and sit back, enjoy the show, and you'll be in bed in like 5 minutes.
No. It sounds amazing. You say it's the 15th. So you do
Sorry?
this every year?
Yeah, my first time doing it live streaming, but we used to do it at this small club called Trumpets. The
Right.
first 14 years was there.
Okay.
You know, we weren't. No one was really into streaming until this year. Now all of a sudden,
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
it's the new buzzword for the music business because all the clubs are down, the festivals are down, the cruises are down. So we're all just trying to figure out, you know, and pivot where the next vibe is going to be. So right now, streaming is the way to go, and
Most definitely.
I want to stand in front of the curve instead of in it or behind it.
Yeah. Well, I am, kind of grateful that this is happening right now because I'm getting to meet and talk to artists like yourself. And this would never have happened if it wasn't for COVID. So that's the one good thing that's come out of it for me.
Absolutely, and thank you
Yeah.
for Larry Williams as well for making that connection. God bless
Yeah.
you.
So I'm so grateful for your time, for your
Yes.
wonderful music. You're just incredible. You really are.
Well, thank you. It's an honor
Yeah.
being here and talking to you and sharing stories with your audience. I got like 55 more, so you can call back anytime.
Oh gosh, yeah, we'll have to do a part 2. We do.
Exactly.
I've got a lot more of your music to go through.
There you go.
Yes, and when is the new album going to be coming out?
New Urban Jazz 3 is coming out probably in January.
Oh,
Again,
that's soon.
Larry Williams, Tony Red, Monica Mason, Regina Troop, Gigi, Reagan Whiteside's playing on a couple of tracks. Ralph Johnson from Earth, Wind & Fire is playing on a track.
Okay.
So it should be it's a fun R&B track album, and I think if you like the smooth jazz, this is right up your alley.
I cannot wait.
And I
Thank
will
you
send you
again.
a copy as soon as it comes out.
Oh, thank you. You're so kind. So I want to say a huge thank you again for your time. I know you're busy preparing your album, your shows, and everything. I do hope to be in attendance at your show on the
Well,
11th.
you have we can kept the schedule flexible so you can, get in where you can fit in, get in where you can fit in. So
Yeah.
11th and 13th or 14th through the 17th. Come
Uh,
hang out with us. I think you'll have fun. The
yeah.
rehearsals have been amazing.
Thank you.
Looking forward to doing some more playing and hopefully talking to you in the near future.
Oh, definitely. We are friends for life now, you know.
Okay, there you go. Thank you.
And thank you everybody for being here. And please do support Bob Baldwin's music. You can check out his website and also the link for the tickets for the event. It would be great to see some of us there.
Yes.
Support them.
Amen.
This is the time that they need our support. And please also do check out Laurie Williams, who is a fantastic singer, songwriter. She's just got some beautiful music out there. I played some earlier. So please do check her out. She'll be also on the event with Bob. But let's give you one of these.
And the
Thank
crowd
you.
goes wild. Wherever they are.
We'll definitely have to do a part two.
Okay, thank you very
Okay.
much. My pleasure.
Take care now.
All right, you too now. Take care.
Bye.